Welcome to our Go1984 Deep View app. Upon first launch, the application automatically guides you to a form to input the necessary connection information for your Go1984 server. Please enter the URL, consisting of the domain name or IP address and port, as well as your access data, username and password, here. With this information, the app establishes a connection to your server, allowing you to view status information from your Go1984 right here. If you want to integrate additional servers, the app offers you this possibility at this point. As soon as you close the input form, a new dialog opens. Here you have the opportunity to select the cameras whose images you want to display in the app. In our case, we add all cameras. Now we're in live mode. After selecting the cameras, the display area has been automatically adjusted and filled. In doing so, the display area was initially zoomed out. However, you have control over the zoom level. With the escape key or the corresponding reset button, you can return to the standard zoom level 1 at any time. To adjust the zoom level, you can use the plus and minus keys, or simply use your mouse wheel. Also, you can shift the display using the cursor keys. And don't forget, by pressing the escape key, you can always return to the standard zoom level. As soon as the zoom level is set to a value greater than 1, or the mouse or keyboard are used, the overview window automatically appears. This window provides you with a visual overview of the current visible section of the display area. For practical navigation, you can use the overview window. A simple click in the window changes the visible section, and the mouse wheel allows you to adjust the zoom level directly in this window. Depending on your needs, you can hide or unhide the overview window. If you wish to change the size of the overview window, please hold down the Control key, or the Command key for Mac, and use the mouse wheel. A double click on a camera enlarges it to full screen. A subsequent double click then takes you back out of full screen mode. You have 10 position buttons available to save view areas. Hold down the Alt key, or Option key for Mac, to identify available positions marked with a pin symbol. To save the current view area, simply click on an available position button. You can access the saved positions by clicking on them or by pressing the corresponding keys 0 to 9. To delete a saved position, simply hold down the Alt key, Option key on Mac, and click on the trash bin symbol. At this point, you can enable or disable the red line for motion detection. For additional information, the application provides a status bar. You can show or hide this bar as desired. It provides useful information about aspects such as zoom level, FPS, resolution, and bandwidth. For PTZ cameras, we have a special feature. In live mode, if you hold down the Control key, or the Command key for Mac, control elements for operating these cameras appear. To switch the recording mode, simply click here. You can pause and resume playback of the recordings here. Alternatively, you can also use the spacebar. You can find the timestamp of the current recording here. Even in recording mode, you have the opportunity to adjust the zoom level to examine details more closely. If there are no recordings for cameras at the displayed time, they will be shown in a dimmed display. Within the timeline, the cameras are differentiated by different colors. Hold down the Control key, or Command for Mac, to highlight the color assignment of the cameras. At this point, you have the opportunity to adjust the time range according to your needs. The start and end points of the selected time range are displayed here. In addition, the time range can be conveniently adjusted using the mouse wheel. A double click on the display will reset the time range to its original default value. Hold down the left mouse button and move the cursor to change the timestamp. A double click on a specific spot sets the timestamp to that point. By double-clicking either here or here, you can adopt the displayed time. The recording can be played forward and backward. Please note that all cameras run synchronously. The playback speed can be individually adjusted at this point. With a double click on the display, you can always reset the playback speed to the default value of normal. In the pause mode of the recording, these arrow keys allow you to navigate forward or backward in 100 millisecond steps. If needed, you can also use the zoom function to display details more sharply. At this point, we enable easy navigation between individual recordings. In pause mode, the timestamp automatically moves to the middle of the next recording. In playback mode, the next recording always starts from its beginning. By double-clicking on a darkened camera, you will directly access the next available recording of that camera. Another double-click will maximize the zoom on the camera. Hold down the Control key, or the Command key on a Mac, to activate camera-specific navigation. By clicking on the now visible arrows, you can easily jump to the next or previous recording of the selected camera. The timeline will be automatically adjusted for you. A click here sets the playback time to the present time. Alternatively, you can also achieve this function by double-clicking on this display. Please note that the playback time never goes beyond the current time, even if you increase the playback speed. Here, you can activate the automatic zoom function. When playing back several cameras simultaneously, this function automatically adjusts the zoom so that all cameras with existing recordings are visible at the same time. Please note, the automatic zoom function pauses as soon as the mouse or keyboard are in use and only becomes active again after a slight delay. Please click here and set a double playback speed. In combination with the automatic zoom function, you get an optimal overview of all cameras where something is currently happening. By activating this function, you hide the timelines of all cameras that are outside the visible range. At this point, you have the option to open the dialog for filtering recordings. This allows you to hide specific days or display recordings within a specific time window. By default, all recordings from the past 14 days are displayed, assuming the logged-in user has the necessary access rights. Additionally, you have the option to hide individual cameras from the timeline. Cameras that are filtered will be marked with a filter symbol. By pressing the Shift key, you can easily set or remove a filter by clicking on a camera. As soon as a filter is applied, the symbol here is accordingly colored. Please click here, and then here to reset all filters. At this point, you have the opportunity to set a bookmark. A bookmark consists of the timestamp and the current zoom level. If you want to use bookmarks, deactivate the automatic zoom function if necessary. Bookmarks are particularly useful when you want to analyze cross-camera processes. You can easily jump back and forth between bookmarks. Please note that a bookmark can only be displayed again if the corresponding recording is still available on the server. Here, you also have the option to delete bookmarks. To return to the live mode, please click here. In most cases, you probably want to adjust the display area, either by changing camera positions or adjusting the image sizes. To do this, simply switch to the edit mode. In edit mode, a window with tools is displayed, which you can move or hide here. A click here will bring the tool window back into view. Here you have the option to show or hide a grid to facilitate the positioning of the cameras. With the mouse, you can select individual cameras. Hold down the Control key, or Command for Mac, to select multiple cameras. Pressing the Escape key will cancel the selection. Here you have the option to select all cameras at once. Depending on the number of cameras selected, appropriate tools will be displayed. If you have exactly 2 cameras selected, you can easily swap them here. This works even if the cameras have different resolutions or sizes on the display area. You can resize an individual camera either by using the mouse or by using the available tools here. The app provides a convenient undo and redo function. Here, you have the option to undo the recent changes. And here, you can restore the changes. If you want to restore the standard template of the app, you can do so simply by first selecting all cameras and then deleting them here. This will open the camera selection dialog where you can reselect the cameras. After closing the dialog, the cameras will automatically be arranged on the display area. You also have the option to select multiple cameras using the Shift key and the mouse. Release the Shift key and drag an already selected camera to move it. Please be careful not to overlap the cameras. If you have selected multiple cameras, you can simultaneously enlarge or shrink them here. Here you have the option to copy the selected cameras to the local clipboard of the app. You can then, for example, shrink and move the selected cameras. Afterwards, you can paste the cameras back from the app clipboard. If you zoom in deep into the shrinking, you can already imagine the performance of the server-side rendering. Once you have selected multiple cameras, you can edit them using the available tools, similar to a graphic editing program. Thanks to the undo and redo function, you can undo changes at any time, making it easier for you to familiarize yourself with the tools. If the aspect ratio of a camera does not match the display area in the app, there are 2 options. Either the camera image can be displayed to fill the screen, but parts of the image may be lost. Alternatively, the camera image can be fit into the area, but there may be empty borders. It is best to adjust the area in the app to match the aspect ratio of the camera here. To add missing cameras to the display area, please click here. This will open the camera selection dialog where you can choose the cameras. After closing the dialog, the cameras will be placed below the main display area, outside the overview area. Make sure to ideally position all cameras within the overview area to achieve the best possible deep view representation. Open the configuration dialog for general settings here. You have the option to change the aspect ratio of the display area. By default, the aspect ratio is set to 16:9. For best results, we recommend adjusting the aspect ratio of the display area to match the aspect ratio of the cameras. Ideally, the aspect ratio in full screen mode should match the aspect ratio of your monitor on which the app is displayed. You can also limit the size of the requested images here to potentially save bandwidth. Limiting the image size can also improve performance but at the expense of image quality. Here, you can adjust the mouse wheel speed and, if necessary, reverse the direction. There is also the option to prevent switching to the recording mode. Switching to the edit mode can also be prevented by password protection. To check if your servers are properly licensed, please click here. If you are adding up to 2 servers, it is sufficient for the server editions to be Pro editions. For up to 4 servers, at least one server must be an Enterprise edition. For more than 4 servers, at least one server must be an Ultimate edition.